Both the Toronto Defiant and the Atlanta Reign have made huge rebuilds over the course of the off-season. While Toronto seems significantly stronger than last year, Atlanta looks to be a bit weaker. Who comes out on top? We'll be going over that today. Starting with the DPS, Toronto is fielding a DPS line of Hisu, although and Stella, while Atlanta is playing Kai, Nero and Venom. This is an interesting one. While I feel Hisu is outclassed by Kai and Nero is much better than Finale, Venom vs. Although is an interesting matchup. While I'd say Venom definitely has the better Tracer, although has much more of a defined hero pool outside of the Tracer with a good Echo, Meh and even a decent Sombra. Whereas the few times Venom flexed off the Tracer he played hitscan like Cassidy and Enzo. I still have to give this to the Reign, though. Kai and Nero are a lot better than their counterparts, but Venom has a lot to prove before he can prove to not be a Tracer one-trick. As for the tanks, Toronto are fielding Muzz and Hotbar, while Atlanta is fielding Gator and Hawk. This is another tricky one. Muzz had a very strong season last year, while his Reign or arguably Oriza don't touch Gators, his Wrecking Ball and Winston are miles ahead. Meanwhile, Hawk was just flat out better than Hotbar last year. Hotbar is a good player, but Hawk was a top 4 or 5 tank last year. Dude was a monster. Overall, I think I have to give this one to Atlanta. I think Muzz is better than Gator. Gator has high peaks on his heroes, but Muzz is strong on every main tank except Rain, and even then he isn't as bad on Rain as Gator is on, say, Winston. However, while Muzz is slightly better, the real difference maker is Hawk, who is significantly better than Hotbar on every hero. Tanks go to Atlanta. Now, the supports. Another tough one, both teams are so close. AG and Ultraviolet are a monster rookie duo, they tore through no contenders together, and were so dominant most people unanimously considered them one of the best at their roles in contenders. Meanwhile, Twilight was able to put up a very strong showing in a mediocre year for the Shock, outclassing even Violet at times and proving he was still at the top. While CH0R0MG was busy pounding in contenders being the second best team and easily the best main support in Korean contenders. Overall I have to go with Toronto. AG and Ultraviolet are beasts, with Ultraviolet having Rookie of the Year potential, but ultimately I don't see them surpassing Twilight and Charong. The hype Charong has is unmatched, with people saying he's the second coming of Lee Jigon and he is one of the most mechanically gifted players out there with the game sense to match. And Twilight has been a top-tier flex support for 3 years running now, it's honestly pretty crazy. The only issue with Toronto's support line is that Charong is being relied on to fill the double flex support role. However, I feel like he would be able to flex onto a Baptiste or other flex supports if needed. Finally, the coaching. Toronto has KTG, Mob Dyke and Yangwon, while Atlanta has Sefi, Danny and Legit. Yet another tough one. Toronto essentially has the same coaching staff as the 2020 Philadelphia Fusion, the team who were fairly dominant in North America outside of the Shock. The outsider there was Yangwon, but he was on the Vancouver Titans in 2019. However, the only issue I have with this coaching staff is that they haven't done much recently. Both Yangwon and KTG were on Toronto last year, who could only front a 9-7 record despite having a solid roster. And Mob Dyke stuck with the Philadelphia Fusion, who had a very solid season despite their visa issues, but still nothing incredible. But maybe bringing Mob Dyke and KTG will spark that magic again, who knows. Meanwhile, losing Hunter is potentially a huge blow to the Reign. He was great for them and his loss is a big downgrade, especially considering Sefi isn't bringing in anyone to replace him and is apparently letting the players more or less coach themselves. Sefi is already more of a managerial type coach, and Legic is technically a team manager, so the coaching situation seems extremely minimalist. While you have to give Sefi credit for the Reims' second-place finish last year, his team was very mediocre in 2020 and was famous for never punching up outside that one Paris game, whereas Philadelphia repeatedly reached new heights despite things like the weekly hero polls messing everything up, so I'll go with Toronto here. Overall, this is a tough one. The teams are extremely close in almost every role. I could see this developing into a season-long rivalry. However, for the overall, I'll have to go with Toronto. I feel like the support gap is wider than the DPS or tank gap, but the real decider here is the coaching. While recency bias could suggest that Sefi and his gang could be better, I feel the Reims' decision to limit coaching could limit them when it comes to adapting to the huge and likely constant changes in Overwatch 2, whereas I feel like the Defiant's coaching staff is very well suited to this. Thanks for watching and remember to like and subscribe for more. I upload daily Overwatch League videos and am trying to hit 100 subs by Season 5, so any subscription helps greatly. Thanks.